Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Ticking Together. As always, the goal of this channel is to provide education about and to raise awareness as to what it's like living with Tourette syndrome. Today's video is specifically dedicated to students, whether you are a junior high student, high school student, college student, university student, or if you're just taking courses further in your adult life. This video is for you, specifically if you have Tourette's or if you fall under the neurodiversity umbrella. If any of you out there are struggling to manage your course load, struggling to take exams, struggling with school or classes in general due to a disability such as Tourette's, ADHD, anxiety, even chronic illness, please know that you are not alone and there is help available. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the exact steps I took to successfully get academic accommodations in my college for my Tourette syndrome and ADHD diagnoses. If you guys are unfamiliar with my channel, my name is Carly, I'm 27 years old and I have Tourette syndrome. I got rice. I was diagnosed with Tourette's when I was 12. So I have had Tourette syndrome from elementary school all the way to college. And I didn't always take advantage of the accommodations I was offered due to having Tourette syndrome, which I really regret. And I'm gonna talk to you today in this video about why getting accommodations is so important and why you deserve them and why it's your legal right. I'm currently in college and I am in a business administration accounting program, which is a 2-year program where I'm taking a bunch of accounting courses and I really enjoy it. I love the classes I'm in, I love learning, but I have always struggled in school due to my Tourette syndrome. And my struggles weren't really academic, they were just with the structure of schooling in general. I firmly believe that school is not designed for neurodivergent individuals at all, which is why when accommodations are offered to you or when you seek accommodations, it is so important to advocate for yourself and to ask for what you need, especially if you are neurodivergent or have Tourette's like me. In this video, I'm gonna be talking about the accommodations I have received literally just today for having Tourette's. And I'm gonna tell you guys some of the steps you will need to follow to get accommodations, whether you're in high school, college, university, whatever the case. I will run down the documents you will need, how to confidently advocate for yourself, some of the common accommodations that people like myself with Tourette's do receive. And if you are in high school, I'm gonna talk about a key difference between high school accommodations and college/university accommodations. If any of this sounds like something you wanna stick around for, please give this video a big thumbs up to let people know that you like it. And please click that subscribe button and ring that notification bell to stay tuned to all of my content here at Ticking Together. I usually post educational content about Tourette syndrome, as well as some of my life stories as someone who has lived with Tourette's the majority of their life. Without further ado, let's get into it. So as I was saying, I'm currently a college student with Tourette syndrome. And I just now, 2 years into my college diploma, I'm asking for accommodations for my Tourette's because I've hit a breaking point. And I know there's a lot of you guys out there who relate to this, where you don't feel like you deserve accommodations, or you don't feel like you're disabled enough to deserve them, or your imposter syndrome runs rampant and you're like, I don't think I need these, like I can tough it out, I can power through. If any of that sounds like you are in the right place. I am currently taking college from home, which I know is such a blessing for people with Tourette's, and I consider that a huge accommodation as is, but luckily my school was offering this to anyone who wanted it. So I take school from home. However, since my professors do not know that I have Tourette's, I was not given any accommodations the whole 2 years I've been at college. I have been toughing it out and trying to act as neurotypical as possible. This means that when I'm taking exams and I'm being proctored by a software, I can't move, I can't tick, I can't talk, I'm suppressing, and it is brutal. This also means when I have really bad tics or I'm in a flare-up of tics or I have tic attacks, I don't receive any additional time for assignments. I'm basically a normal student. Now, it got to the point a few weeks ago where I was having tic attacks every night due to midterm season, where I had this epiphany, and I'm like, this isn't fair, because a normal student wouldn't be going through what I'm going through. They wouldn't have to suffer through tic attacks while studying. While they're taking exams, they wouldn't have to be focused on don't tick, you're on camera. They would be able to take the exam while focusing on that exam. And it came to me literally posting a video on this YouTube channel where I was asking for help and asking people what accommodations they receive. Do you think I deserve it? What are some of the accommodations people with Tourette's typically get? And so many of you guys made me realize that Tourette's is a disability because I'm not on a level playing field with every other student. Tourette's, to put it simply, disables me. It makes my schooling a lot harder because my tics are always at the forefront of my schooling. And so I got rice. I've struggled a lot in college, not with the academics, but with the social aspect, with having to suppress, with having to act normal. And I've come to realize I don't need to be doing this. So that is why I finally reached out to a disability service advisor. And that is the first step for you guys in this whole realm of seeking accommodations, is finding the right person to ask. Many students won't know where to go and have to look online and have to call people to see, where do I go to inquire about receiving accommodations? And each school will be different. If you're in high school, there's likely a counselor you can speak to. In college, there often are disability service advisors put into place for people like us who need a little bit extra help. And I didn't know that this was a thing until I Googled it on my school's website and found out, hey, there's a learning advisor, there's a disability advisor, there's learning strategists. There's so many people that want to help you. And so the first step is finding that advisor or finding that counselor, seeing if they have an opening, booking a time with them to speak with them about what you're going through. Once you have booked an appointment with your counselor or your disability advisor, it's important to note that you will likely need some sort of documentation to prove to them that you are experiencing what you say you are. Now, I know it isn't always convenient to get these documents, but it is crucial for your advisors to know that what you're dealing with is legit. For me, during my appointment today, all I had to do was prove diagnosis of my Tourette's and my ADHD, which I was easily able to find on my healthcare portal. Now, I live in Canada, so all of my medical documents and all of my healthcare letters are uploaded to a file online where I'm able to save them and print them and send them off if need be. So I was able to find my health summary with my diagnoses listed there and able to send that off to my advisor to start off the process. Once my advisor saw that yes, Carly was diagnosed with Tourette's this year, ADHD this year, yes, she has these disorders, yes, we can help. It was a big relief knowing that I had this proof handy, but if you don't, do not fear. I would recommend seeing your doctor, your family doctor, your specialist, whoever deals with your diagnosis. I would highly recommend seeing them before you seek help from an advisor, but you will also be needing to see them again once you have seen your advisor, so keep that in mind as well. Meeting with the disability advisor was a piece of cake. It was so easy. And that is someone who struggles with severe anxiety and severe imposter syndrome. But let me say, the number one piece of advice I can give you is to let them lead the conversation. And don't be afraid to ask a ton of questions. My meeting started off with my advisor introducing herself, telling me that she was here to help, and asking me directly what I was dealing with. So I told her that I have Tourette's and ADHD, that I'm struggling with memory recall, that I'm struggling with suppressing tics due to exams, I'm struggling with note taking. I would highly recommend making a list and writing it down of the issues that you struggle with before meeting with your advisor or your counselor, because then you have something to fall back on in case you do get too nervous. Once I did the brief update about myself, my advisor took over and asked for the documentation, which I had emailed her prior. She saw that I was diagnosed with Tourette's, ADHD, anxiety, all that jazz, and was able to continue the conversation. She said that she was able to give me accommodations starting today since I did have that proof already. So that is why it is so crucial for you guys to have that evidence, to have that documentation ready for your first meeting. My college also has a subcategory of their website which is dedicated to accommodations and disability help. So before this meeting, I actually made a profile on their website and was able to list my diagnoses. I was able to list the help I needed, previous accommodations I've received in high school, and what I thought might be helpful for me in college. So this disability advisor during this meeting already had a background of what I kind of wanted and what I was hoping from this meeting, which I thought was awesome. But if your school does not have that, again, write notes down, think of what you want to ask in advance, because these people are here to help you. Once I had talked to my advisor for a little bit longer, she started to understand the gist of me, if you will, and my Tourette's and kind of what disables me in the classroom. And she even said I wasn't on a level playing field as the rest of my classmates. It is a legal right to education, and it is so important to seek accommodations if you need them, because you deserve them. And that is something I just didn't realize, because I thought I could tough it out and that I didn't deserve accommodations, when that is so not true. It is so important to advocate for yourself in case you have an advisor who wasn't as friendly as mine. As I said, these people are put in place to help you, but not everyone might be having the best day. Some might have woken up on the wrong side of the bed. Others might not just be the friendliest. You might not have the luck I did, which is unfortunate, but it could happen. Which is why self-advocacy is so important, and it's important that you know how to speak up for yourself. The best thing you can do is to ask for things directly that you need. Asking for, hey, I need help with note-taking. Telling the advisor your struggles word for word, and don't be afraid to go in depth. I told my advisor that during exams, my brain is focused on not ticking more than the exam content itself. And I think that was a big one for her. Be sure to complain about how this affects you. Make your advisor understand that this is disabling and that you need help. I'm not saying over-exaggerate and overreact, but genuinely, if you're struggling, ask for help. My best friend gave me some of the best advice that I took going into this accommodations appointment, which was act like you're asking for the accommodations for your best friend, not yourself. If I was asking for accommodations for my best friend who needed them, I would be advocating so hard for her. I know she needs these to help her succeed. So why would you treat yourself any different than your best friend if you also need accommodations? Advocate hard for yourself and know that you truly do deserve these accommodations if you're struggling. The next part of this video that I'm going to go into are the top 5 accommodations I received today for my Tourette syndrome and ADHD in college. And most of these were suggested by my advisor. I didn't directly come out and ask for any of these, but she came forward and said, I think these would be helpful for you, which again is so important, and so just bless her heart for being so helpful and understanding. One of the accommodations I received today was assistance in note-taking. And you're probably wondering how this works since all of my classes are online. Through the disability program at my school, there is funding for different software, so I was granted the ability to use a software for AI note-taking where my whole lecture is recorded and the professor's words are typed out word for word. After the lecture is over, the text will then be transformed into a summary of the lecture, which will help me so much because during classes when I'm ticking, I can't write notes, whether that's typing or writing with a pencil. I find it so hard to keep up. So this is such an amazing accommodation that I was offered, and I'm so grateful. The next accommodations I was offered was recording of lectures. Now, a lot of my professors already record their lectures for every student, but on my file, I have permission to record any lecture I want, even if the professor isn't recording it for everyone else, which again, is a lifesaver because sometimes I can't go to class due to a tic attack or due to me having severe tics or an ADHD flare up. Like sometimes I just can't do it. And so having these lectures to go back and watch again is life-saving. And I'm probably gonna do a lot better in school. The next accommodation I was given was extra time on exams. And this is a very, very common one that people will receive. I think this will be very helpful because I also have severe anxiety towards exams. And so having extra time, I believe I get time and a half, is going to be so beneficial and so crucial. And in addition to this, the next accommodation I received was my professors will be notified that on my proctoring system for my exams, I am able to move, I'm able to get up and walk around, I'm able to speak or tick vocally, I'm able to move without getting flagged for suspicious activity, which is, thank God. I don't know how I haven't had this until now, genuinely. I really should have asked for this all so much sooner because I'm almost done my diploma, but I'm so grateful that I'm receiving this now, and the fact that I'll be able to move and tick and not have to worry about suppressing during an exam is beyond amazing. And the next accommodation I was given, which is also so important, is extensions on assignment dates. This one is one of the ones that I directly asked for specifically because sometimes when I'm having tic attacks and my project is due that night, I can't get it done. So a few extra days would be helpful, and my professors all know that this is warranted and this is what I'm allowed to get. And I'm so beyond grateful. Another thing to ask your advisor about, depending on where you're located, is disability grants and funding. Now, I have to apply for this still, so I don't know if I will qualify, but in my country, in my province, there is disability funding and grants available for people with Tourette's, ADHD, chronic illness, anything disabling them from learning on a level playing field with average folk, I guess. And if I qualify for this, I will get funding towards my school, as well as there is an electronic portion of this funding where I may be able to invest in noise canceling headphones for the first time, which would be phenomenal because I currently can't afford them. But with this grant, I would be able to. So that's something to also ask about because there's resources for me that I didn't even know existed that I could have been using years ago. Now, when talking about these grants and talking about advising from a disability coordinator, I also need to mention that you will likely need to see your doctor again once you have seen this accommodations advisor or counselor. Sometimes different schools will have specific forms for your doctor to fill out regarding accommodations, regarding grants, regarding getting help, and that's totally okay. I'm so lucky that I have a family doctor that I am able to go and request them to fill out this form, which again proves my diagnosis, gives my doctor the ability to also recommend accommodations that he feels would help me more. And this also extends my accommodations for the rest of my schooling. So remember how I said at the beginning of this video, my diagnostic paper was enough for now? It's enough at the beginning, but eventually you will have to get more documentation from your doctor to prove and to kind of help guide you through the process. I don't believe that without this documentation, I would have been able to get accommodations the day I asked for it. So keep that in mind as well, because I know, as I said, it's not always convenient or easy to get this documentation, but it's so important for this process to work. The accommodations I received today are going to change my life in school. I feel like I'm gonna succeed so much more now. I feel like I'm on a level playing field with all of the other students, and I feel blessed and lucky that these accommodations are offered to people like me. Because for so many years, I'm like, I don't deserve them, I don't need them, I can tough it out. But honestly, if you're looking at school in the mindset of having to tough it out, there's something wrong. School is hard enough as is, but throw on Tourette's, throw on ADHD, throw on whatever you're dealing with, it makes it that much harder. And these accommodations are your academic right. I wanted to mention as well, if you guys are in school physically where you actually have to go to the school and you're not online, there are so many other accommodations that can be put in place for you besides what I've listed for my online accommodations. When I was in high school with my Tourette's, I was able to write exams in separate rooms completely away from everyone else. I was able to leave the classroom whenever I wanted without disrupting or asking the teacher. I would just get up and go to the hallways to let out some ticks. There are things that can be put into place that will drastically improve your schooling experience. And don't be like me and think you don't deserve it and think you're gonna tough it out, because as I said, school is hard. You don't need to make it harder. One more thing that I promised I would talk about is how accommodations are different in high school than they are in college. For me, I found the experience of seeking help in college a little bit different than it was when I was in high school or junior high. In junior high and high school, your teachers get to know you on a lot more of a personal level than your professors do in college. This means that if you need help, your teachers likely already know. So I would argue in junior high and high school, it's a little bit easier to get accommodations and to get the help you need because your teachers already have an idea of the help you might need. The difference in college is that you as the student have to seek out help yourself. You have to initiate the process, you have to find the disability advisor, you have to get the forms filled out on your own. Like, you are truly an adult in college compared to how you're treated in high school and junior high. The college professors won't seek you out. Teachers will not seek you out. They will not really give too much of a darn if you need help unless you have accommodations put into place. And trust me, I know this. Recently, when I was having a flare-up of tics during midterm week, I emailed my professors asking for help, and they said basically I was out of luck because I didn't have accommodations in place and there was nothing they could actually do to help me unless I had accommodations. So I learned the hard way that in college, you have to seek it out yourself. You have to be your strongest advocate. You have to push to get the things you need. Whereas in high school, it's a little bit easier. Your parents can help you and your teachers likely already know you need help and kind of guide you through that process. So that's the key difference there. My final advice for you guys is don't give up. If you need accommodations, please advocate for yourself. Seek the help you need, ask for the help you need, because it is so important to level the playing field and to not be disadvantaged in school. Remember that school doesn't have to be harder than it already is because of your disability or what you're going through. And please remember the advice I gave about the best friend. When you're seeking accommodations for yourself, pretend you're asking for a loved one, for your best friend, for someone who you truly care about if you have trouble with confidence like me. Don't give up because accommodations are out there. They are attainable, they are achievable, and people want to help you. You are deserving of help. I really wanted to thank everyone who have commented on my YouTube shorts I made about this, where I was asking if I deserved accommodations, if I needed help. Like, everyone who commented with advice and words of wisdom and kindness truly were the people that made me believe in myself that I do deserve accommodations and that I'm worthy of them. So thank you to every single one of you. You guys are worthy too, and I know you can do it. Be sure to follow these tips from this video, and I'm sure you guys will be able to achieve the accommodations you deserve. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you learned anything, if you have accommodations in place, if you are gonna get accommodations, whatever the case, please give this video a thumbs up to get awareness out there and to let people know that accommodations are okay. They're nothing to be embarrassed or ashamed of, and you deserve them. Again, please subscribe to my channel and ring that notification bell to stay tuned to all of my content here at Taking Together. I host educational content about Tourette's as well as some of my life stories as someone who has lived with Tourette syndrome the majority of their life. I would love it if you guys would leave a comment of encouragement to people who want to get accommodations. Just say hi to me, or whatever the case, leave your story in the comments if you're willing. Leave what accommodations you get. We can make this a friendly community of accommodation support. It'd be great. So leave those comments down below, you guys. I love you so much, and I truly wouldn't be where I am without you. You guys have made me more confident in my Tourette's, more proud of who I am, and I'm just so grateful for everything you've done for me. And without you guys, I don't think I would have been brave enough to ask for accommodations. So truly, thank you. All right, you guys, as always, we are learning together. We're laughing together and we're taking together. I love you. I will see you next time. Don't give up. You deserve it. Mwah.